Hello, dear friend. This is the 2022 Astrology Horoscope for people who have their sun or rising sign in Virgo. And in this video, you will learn how the most important astrology events will affect your sign so that you can prepare accordingly. Let's start with a short list of the important things we need to know about during 2022. First of all, both Venus and Mars are about to go retrograde. Venus at the very beginning of the year and Mars at the end of the year. So we need to make some reassessments at the beginning and at the end of the year. And those retrogradenesses will last for around 3 months together. So lots of reassessments and also readjustments during the year. Mercury will be retrograde as usual. We have 3 cycles and we are going to talk about them. Also, the lunar nodes are ingressing. They are changing their sign position. Plus, they also have one pretty exciting and important aspect. And this is opening up a new opportunity for you. Area where you can grow and expand. So this is pretty big. We are going to talk about Jupiter's ingressions and aspects, and this will show you where you can grow, also where you can succeed, and which are kind of like the helpers or the supporters for you. Jupiter is very, very active during 2022. And also you will learn about Saturn and the outer planets, their exact degree positions, and also in which cases they will really affect you. So before we dive deep into each of those events, I want to quickly introduce you also to something brand new, the MarStars membership. This is an incredible opportunity for you to receive access to pre-recorded trainings. Their value is more than $2,500. Plus also regular live webinars on astrology topics each month and Q&A sessions, and also getting access to our private community and, very important, also to upcoming courses. So it's an incredible membership opportunity. We do have a free trial, so check the link below or go to marstars.net and sign up now. With that being said, let's get started with Venus retrograde. This is actually how we start the year. And Venus will be retrograde until the 29th of January. In your case, Venus is retrograde in 5th house. And we must say that 5th house is a pretty comfortable house position for Venus. She likes being there. Plus, this is also one of your friendly signs. Capricorn is a friendly sign for Virgo. So overall, Venus can have a positive impact. But again, you need to be aware of the fact that you can be over-emotional, oversensitive, especially when it comes to love, your personal life, or your hobbies, or your creative projects, and even your kids. This is the time to maybe reassess some of your desires or goals, and it's possible that people from the past may come back to your life. It's very possible, for example, to meet one of your exes or to even restart a relationship. That is also possible. Keep in mind that generally this month, when Venus is retrograde, is not beneficial for starting something brand new. If it's restarting a relationship, if it's improving or solving something, that would be great. But this is not a really beneficial time for starting something brand new. That includes also creative projects or hobbies or anything else that you are putting your heart into and you also want to make it long-lasting or permanent. So lots of emotional work and themes may also show up during this first month of the year. Next, let's discuss the last 2 months, because this is the time when Mars is about to turn retrograde And Mars will be in your 10th house. So this is a pretty important position, especially when it comes to your work or business or social status or social goals or your vocation. Things may not be that smooth, or you may even feel like you need to overcome some challenges, and they could be, again, challenges coming from the past, something that you have already faced with or something that you haven't really solved. Now you may have the opportunity to fix or improve it. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you are doing something and it's supposed to be improved after a while, and that is totally fine, and that's part of the plan. So a great opportunity for you to improve those business projects or career goals and make them better and make them more beneficial for yourself and for others. Generally, this is not a good time for starting a new business or a new career or applying for a promotion. It's better to take it slower and again to focus more on improvements and fixing things which have already been problematic in the past. Keep in mind that there might be possible issues with authority figures during those 2 months, so you need to be more careful. Next, we are going to talk about the lunar nodes. After the 19th of January, the lunar nodes are shifting into new sign positions. And for you, the North Node will trigger 9th house and the South Node will trigger your 3rd house. The North Node moving to 9th house can help you to focus more on long-term goals, on learning new things. It's a great time for studying something or finishing your degree or applying to some kind of exam. So studies and expansion of the knowledge you have is something great that you can do. And it's very important to prioritize the long-term goals, because the South Node will be in your 3rd house, which means that you shouldn't over-focus on the small things and on the way things are right now. So I know that in the spiritual world, we really talk about the need to be present and to pay attention to what's happening right here, right now. And that is definitely an important part, but there are times when you also need to shift to the bigger picture. And for you, this time is coming. So generally, Virgo tends to be more practical and present focused. So it's important for you to shift your focus now more into the longer picture, the long-term perspective or the bigger picture, and to care more about the general idea. In other words, it's also time to focus on the strategy, not so much on the tactics, at least for a while. And actually, this will continue until the end of the year, so a very important shift. Next, we need to mention that Uranus is about to make a conjunction with the North Node around the end of July, the beginning of August, in your 9th house. And this is a great time to do something different when it comes to knowledge, education, long-term goals. Be open and experiment. You may realize that your goals have changed, that now you want to do something different, or there could be a surprising opportunity for the future. So open up and keep in mind that it can be very exciting and also a very, very rewarding time. Next, we'll discuss Jupiter, the benefactor, the planet which can open new opportunities and possibilities. And Jupiter is actually pretty active during 2022. Between January and April, and then again November and December, Jupiter is in your 7th house. And this is a wonderful time for focusing on relationships and partnerships. Whether you are about to start a new relationship or get married or just improve your current relationship, of course, it would depend on your own life situation. But in different ways, this could be a beneficial time for your personal life, including also the possibility that if you're in a really unhappy relationship, this may just be the end of it. So some kind of improvements and possibilities in your relationships. That also includes possible business partnerships. The rest of the year, between May and October, Jupiter is in your 8th house. And this is a great time for diving deeper into your own emotional experiences, healing something that needs to be healed, or focusing on some energy work and spiritual work. Financial matters can also be important. You can invest, you can expand, or this may also be a positive sign for the financial matters of your partner. So resources coming from other people may also expand. And overall, again, financial things and energy opening is very, very important. It's interesting that Jupiter is having also 3 major positive aspects. The first one is during February. It will trigger Jupiter in 7th and Uranus in 9th house. This can bring some kind of new goals that you may have together with your partner, or learning something together, or just having a new picture, a new idea, a new goal that you can pursue. So again, this may include someone else, but it can also be important for your own future. Next, around April, Jupiter will be in conjunction with Neptune in your 7th house, and this can be especially beneficial for your relationship. Something positive that relates to another person as well is highly possible, and especially if you need some healing or a better understanding or opening to each other, this can be the time to focus on that. So great times to, again, focus on relationships. And the last of those aspects is coming around May. Jupiter in 7th is connecting with Pluto in your 5th house. This can be positive when it comes to personal life things, romantic stuff, even things related to children, and also creative opportunities. It's a great time to show your work or to connect to others and kind of like open up a little bit, especially for people who work with others, like clients, or they have an audience. This can be very, very beneficial time, both personally and also creatively. Next, we are going to talk about the eclipses. What's important to know here is that eclipses are just emphasizing the influence of the lunar nodes. And the lunar nodes, as we said, are in your 9th and 3rd house, with more priority on long-term picture and goals and the strategy, and not so much on the smaller things or the tactics or kind of like the details. There are 4 eclipses during April, May, October, and November. The first one, the April eclipse, is very beneficial for focusing on the future and expanding and moving forward, because the North Node is the one which is being triggered. Then the May eclipse triggers more 3rd and 9th house, which is about the balance, but also shifting something in the present, shifting something when it comes to the little plans you have or the ideas that you have. Then October eclipse comes with triggering your 3rd house and the South Node, which is really focused on the past, perhaps letting something go or looking at this from a different perspective, or just solving something which is more related to your past. And finally, the November eclipse, which will be the last one for the year, will trigger 9th and 3rd house, and it's more about finding the balance, especially when it comes to the bigger picture and the smaller tactics or ideas that you are having. You can change something in regards to those big ideas or visions or goals that you are having. And next we are going to talk about Mercury retrograde, which is pretty important because this is the ruler of your sign. So every Mercury cycle is generally more important to you. There is a cycle around January, February, and it will trigger first your career and then your personal life and your creativity. Then May, June is the second cycle, which will trigger career, business, reputation, and then more your long-term goals, your visions about the future. So you need to be extra careful as usual during those times and try avoiding some important new things, or at least be extra careful with those. And the last full cycle of Mercury retro is September and the beginning of October. It will be the most important one. At first, it will trigger financial stuff and resources, and then it will affect you personally because Mercury will be retrograde also in Virgo. So this is definitely the most important eclipse. Sorry, it's not an eclipse, it's Mercury retrograde. And finally, at the very end, on the 29th of December, Mercury is turning retrograde again. So more on that perhaps during the following year, but just so you know that there is something similar between the beginning and the end of the year, because Mercury will be retrograde in Capricorn, so in the same signs in the beginning and at the end of the year. So that's something to keep in mind. Next, we are going to talk about Saturn. Saturn is between the 12th and the 26th degree of Aquarius in your 6th house, which is very important for your work and career. It's the time when you may need to work extra hard. You may need to be very organized, disciplined, and very practical and hardworking. But what I really love about Saturn is that it brings you the results that you truly deserve. They may come later. There might be some delay. You may feel like it's not adequate to the effort you are putting right now, but eventually you will see those results. So one of the advices I have for you is work hard and do the right thing when it comes to your work and your business. It's especially important if you have the cusp of your 6th house between the 12th and the 26th degree of Aquarius. That would mean that Saturn will cross the cusp of this house, and during those times you may find it actually very important to concentrate on work, business, or just organizing your daily routines better. One of the main topics that Saturn can bring is productivity, organizing things, maybe sticking to your schedule or to some kind of time frames. That's quite important during the year. But again, Saturn can bring you more responsibilities, which sometimes may mean growth and higher positions. But if something is not the right thing for you, you may need to stop, which may look like quitting a job or someone letting you go, or just at least for a while, the need to reconsider and change what you are doing and what you are focusing on career-wise. And next we are going to talk about the outer planets. Uranus is actually pretty friendly for you. It's in Taurus between the 11th and the 19th degree in your 9th house. So overall, Uranus is supporting you and perhaps making you more inspired about the future and opening up and experimenting and really embracing the idea about freedom, or some other concepts. You may get more interested in astrology or something spiritual or something occult or anything else which is out of the box. So the out of the box thinking is very, very important and can really help you to move forward. So overall, Uranus is your friend during this year. Neptune, on the other side, is in your 7th house between 21st and 26th degree of Pisces. And Neptune can challenge you more, especially if your ascendant or sun is between those degrees. So the kind of like the last degree of Pisces, between 21st, 26th degree especially. And in this case, you may need to work with your relationships or with your understanding about yourself. And from the positive side, it can be very healing and inspiring, and it can help you to connect deeper to your partner or another person. But it's possible that there may also be some illusions or something which is very unrealistic and symbolically like wearing your pink glasses. So be careful about this. You can be really disappointed. And I guess this also has its healing influence, because this disappointment may just show you how things are. But again, keep in mind, there might be something complicated in your relationships if Neptune is crossing the cusp of your 7th house or making opposition with your sun. So in order to understand if that's your case, you need to know the degrees. So 21st, 26th degree are the ones which are triggered. And finally, Pluto. Pluto is also a friend of yours during this year, and not only. For quite a long time, Pluto is in Capricorn, which is a familiar and comfortable sign for you. It's triggering your 5th house, which means that it may bring more depth and deeper connection when it comes to love or creativity or children. And overall, it can help you to embrace the passion or the intense emotions. It's not always easy, especially if Pluto is crossing the cusp of your 5th house. So if your 5th house is between 26, 29 degree of Capricorn, this will be pretty big. And there could be transformations and things which may seem like they're not under your control. But again, this can help you to feel more and feel deeper. But overall, Pluto is your friend. And if you have your sun or rising sign between the last degrees of the sign of Taurus, Pluto is trining your sun or rising sign. So it may be very empowering and bringing you incredible strength. If that's not the case, then Pluto is just kind of like a background energy and it may not be that transformative. So that's a very interesting year we have in front of us. Retrogradenesses at the beginning and the end, and lunar nodes are changing, and Jupiter is pretty active. So quite a few changes coming ahead. And one of the good things also is that we don't have major aspects, challenging aspects between the slower planets. Uranus and Saturn are in the orb of the square, but they won't be exact. So, I mean, the aspect won't be exact. So this can help us to kind of like handle things better and also to maybe solve things from the past. It's not like smooth sailing yet, but hopefully it will be a better one. So thank you very much for joining me and have a wonderful 2022. Don't forget to sign up for your free trial for MarStars membership. It will give you access to all of my courses, including the natal astrology course. So it includes everything you need to know about foundational astrology and how you can interpret signs, planets, and aspects and houses. So we have more than 50 hours of lessons here, which will teach you everything you need to know about natal astrology. We also have karmic astrology course, which is a pretty extensive one and will help you to do more advanced readings. On top of that, you also receive access to live webinars. Each month, we are having a special webinar on an astrology topic and another one, which is a Q&A session. So you can come and ask all of the questions you have, which are astrology related. You get access to all of the pre-recorded courses, plus the future ones. And there are other surprises like monthly horoscopes. We have our community and also other spiritual courses and energy practices and much more in the future. So make sure to check the link below or go to MarStars.net and sign up for your free trial.